Alright, morning everyone. So we've just launched, we're heading out, it's bright and early. It's not that early, it's about 6 o'clock. We're going to go out, we're going to fish some mangrove edges, we're going to fish some fallen trees, we're going to try and get some jacks. I did sound some barra the other day, try and get one. Don't like my chances, they've just been royal pests lately, but we'll still give it a go. Worst comes to worst, I'll at least show you guys some screenshots of what they actually look like, just so you know on the sounder, if you're lucky enough to stumble onto them. But yeah, I've got a couple of, oh god, we got 7-8 rods with us again. I just don't know what I'm going to throw yet. I'm tempted to try a glide bait. I want to try and glide bait a jack out of the mangroves. But either way, let's just start moving up to our location. We'll have a bit of a look-see and we'll just see where the day takes us, hey? It's a beautiful day. The wind's going to kick in later and it's going to be painful for both audio, filming and just everything else. But yeah, we'll just move along and hopefully we can get into a few fish. Let's get going. All right, so to start the day, I'm going to flick glide baits into the mangroves, see what happens. We picked this side because it's shady and there's less current, but plan is just flick it in, do this. Give it like a slow twitch and then a steady wind. We'll see if we can entice something out. Back off that drag because it was locked. Still locked. Because we don't have the world's biggest hooks on this, right? Just like that. I'm just going to work it, then pause it. So at the moment we've got a making tide. So all of the water is pushing up, hence the term making, because it's making into the bank. I think that's how it goes. But this is just a Molex 135, like you can see the way it swims. It's a pretty cool lure. I've caught flathead on it, done a review on it. Haven't caught a jack on this one yet. I've caught jacks on the Gancrafts, but I think we got a bit of a shot first up. If not, it's just fun flicking glide baits. Like, that's a trust me bro sort of thing. God, we need our sunnies already. We had a slightly later start, mainly because, one, I slept in. Two, the tide. If we were too early, it would have been dead low. We wouldn't have got into here. Probably the only person within a couple of 100-kilometer radius that is throwing glide baits into mangroves, I reckon. I don't think people are doing this. I don't know if I'm... Oh, that's probably why they're not doing it. So many hooks on it. There was a good tree there too. This is going to be, I think, the theme of the day is actually catching trees more than catching fish. The casting's going to have to be on point, which generally it's not. And then we've got to figure out how I'm going to get that out. Everything's going into the trees. At least it's not windy yet. It's 4 foot here, so it's definitely deep enough to hold jacks. Definitely deep enough to hold jacks. Oh, out of one into the other. Ah! Trying to bounce that away from the mangroves. Sweet. There's actually a rock bar beneath us. Oh. Back to it, I guess. This reel's been playing up lately. I try to pick a very clear lure, so if we're actually lucky enough to catch a jack, I can see it and you guys can see it too. In terms of how to do this, I have no idea. I've only ever caught jacks on pontoons on these lures. Like I said, that's on the big Gancraft, the 178mm. So this is only a 130. I had to beef up the hooks, beef up the split rings. We're probably going to get a Trev doing it in all honesty as well. But look at that. And it's just nuts, the kick on this thing. It's a big lure too. If you burn it though, it blows out. So it's definitely slow working. That's probably the best option, is not using the rod tip. Rod tips are maybe the subtlest little rod tip poke. Oh my God. That's why you have to run bait casts too. Otherwise you're just going to end up in the trees too often with spin. Because this is only swimming. As you can see, it's just below the surface. We can't really get much more depth out of it, otherwise we'll sacrifice action, or yeah, because it's a trade-off, right? If we sink it too far, we can't fish just beneath these mangroves. We got to fish it faster. Like, everything about it will be a trade-off. That's a good looking spot in here. Back of a rock bar, heaps of shade. Yeah, I've got to slow it down. I'm working it too fast. I can see it. Like, I'm trying to get it to chop too hard, and it's just affecting the action. I'm trying to almost get it to chop on the spot. Oh, not in the tree. So chopping is where it kicks left, right, left, right, left, right. Because I'm trying to almost walk the dog with it. But it's just affecting the action too much. I've just got to go like that. Because I'm trying to do that, but it's just not. It's not working. It ain't happening. But as this water level gets up, the fish should be pushing up in here to feed. So well, I'm kind of hopeful that while we got this nice run-in tide, or as I said, making tide, we can hopefully stumble into a fish that's hungry or entice a bite, you know. Like I said, they've probably never seen glide baits. I don't know if anyone else is doing this stuff. I've seen one other video of a guy do it. He was land-based up a creek. He had good success. He was catching them on land-based, just walking around throwing them out. But he had standard hooks, so they were basically floating. He wasn't sinking it down into snags. Also, it didn't look like he had too much current. So we're just fishing now. The section's tidal, semi-tidal. We're in 7 foot of water, but pretty much those mangroves only have water on them on the high tide. It actually pushes up further in the back. There's a barracuda. Can we glide bait a barracuda or a long tom? Probably the answer would probably be yes. I don't really want to though. Oh! I just had a hit. Oh, I had a hit from a jack. Just in there. So it's one look, one hit. One look, one hit. We're getting towards the top of the high, so I'm thinking it's a high tide thing more than anything. It's interesting though, we've had one in full current, one in no current. Oh, yes! Just don't want to go too hard on him. We don't want to pull hooks here. We don't want to pull hooks. Oh, he's a good fish too. He's a really good fish. Yes! I've done it. Glide baited a mangrove jack in the creeks. How cool's that? Little glide bait jack. Yeah, I fished a lot for nothing. So they seem to be, which makes sense. Oh, I think I just seen another one behind that. Up in the shadows, right? Makes sense. Just motor guide things. Like and subscribe if you understand motor guide things. They must be patrolling the edges. So one thing we've noticed is you reach a certain stage of the tide, the jacks will push up and they'll patrol the edges. They'll come through here and they'll do, you know, whatever jacks do. And it's a very strange occurrence because they cannot be there, then all of a sudden they're all there, they're everywhere, and then they disappear again. So there's plenty of bait up in there, so it makes sense. Probably up there having a feed. Just don't know how much more of, like, there's not too many more spots like this one. Not that this is the, you know, the be all end all of spots, just this heavy mangrove that's a tidal section. You know, I've already fished 2 or 3 of them so far just like it, but for whatever reason there is, you know, they're up here. Could be the tide. Like I said, the tide could be high enough now that they have pushed up and they're just looking for those easy feeds. Alright guys, that's going to do us. Water's getting dirty, my shoulder is starting to burn, and we just sort of ran out of ground to fish. So in the end, it actually went quite good. We got 7 looks in total. So we had 3 bites. 2 of them just, they hit it, but the hooks didn't connect. One of them I can actually see 2 of his teeth marks where he jolted it. He just went bang like that, just body shotted it. Oh, missed one. Oh, he hit that good too. He hit that so good. I was just thinking in my head about how we're going to do the outro. That was that last one. So yeah, we had 7 looks, 1 hook up, 2 hits. One little guy came over, it was like 20 centimeters. I was watching him peck at it, which was kind of funny. But all the action came on 2 banks. Now those banks were all sort of heavy with mangrove and about 4 to 5 foot. One was at top of the tide and now we're at mid run out, another bank. So that seemed to be the key. Out of everything I fished all day, all the mangroves and everything, those 2 banks, that's what they have in common. So if you're looking to try it, keep that in mind, that, you know, you got to figure out your own banks and stuff. But for me, that was the pattern for today. But here he is anyway. So it's just a Mollix. It's a 135 Glide slow sink. Tackle World sell them for about 30 bucks. What I did was I upped the split rings. So I believe they're a size 3 or size 4 owner. So they're like a 60, 80 pound. That is a BKK size 6 on the rear. And on the front is a YS 81 size 4 by owner. So when you look at them, you can sort of tell. Actually, maybe this one may be a 4 or a 6. I'm unsure. They're very similar in size. The reason is because if you want that tail to slap and it to glide, you need a lighter hook at the back. And that's what this one's here for. So you kind of, it's a bit of a trade-off, but I did run the beefier one at the front just in case we did hook up. But we'll grab him out. I'll show you guys the fish, and then we're going to tag him and let him go, and then we'll probably head off and I'll go see a physio, because my God, right here is just burning just from throwing it. Oh, and if you're looking to throw it, so the setup I used today was just my heavy jack rod. It's a 10 to 20 pound rod, 30 pound braid, and this one's got 50 pound leader on it. And it's just a Tatula. But the other thing to keep in mind is it's all reel. I was doing a lot of twitches at the start with the rod tip, but it's just, no, don't do that. It just blows out and does all sorts of stuff. You want to use the reel. So one crank, and what I was doing is just jolting it side to side, side to side, like a walk the dog, and pausing it, and then just wind it out. It didn't really seem to make much of a difference when the bites came. They just, if the fish were there and they were hungry, they came. But yeah, that's about it for the technique. So I'll grab him out, I'll show you guys, and then, like I said, we'll let him go, or we'll tag him, let him go, and then head to the physio. So as we're just sitting here getting him ready, just heard one crunch something up in those mangroves. Oh, the cotton tree. So here you go. So he's about 36. Like he's not massive, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, for 3 foot of water, throwing a glide bait, something that I've only tried once or twice for no success, I'm stoked with that. Like that's it. And hopefully you guys have learnt something, and hopefully I can inspire you guys to give it a go. It is a lot of fun. It's very visual, and even if you don't catch anything, just watching glide bait swim, it's therapeutic. It just, your mind is at ease. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So like I said, we'll tag him, we'll let him go, and then we'll head back to the ramp, and I'll catch you on the next one.